Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you a 1 versus 1 on death row, and I'm going to be using the 79th Guards Tank Division. I'm up against Uncle Sam, also known as Ajoor, who is going to be using the 39th Guards. So this is game 2 of a best of 5 in the semi-final of the WARNO League Season 0 Division 2. If you don't want spoilers, I would make sure to go back and watch the first video now. But with that said, I won the first game. So moving into this one, I'm already 1-0 up in the best of 5, which is really good. I'm hoping to find myself a second map. I'm very confident. I haven't dropped a game in WARNO League so far. So yeah, things are going very well for me. Now in the first game, Uncle Sam, he picked Geisa as the map. I ended up on the good side, so that didn't really work out for him. This time around, I'm going to be picking Death Row because I know it's quite a balanced map, and also it's quite a slow map, and so I'm able to slow things down, even though obviously I've already won and I want to obviously keep up the momentum. The point is that I'm quite chill right now, and I'm just wanting to play a steady game in order to continue to build on the victory that I already had. So I end up picking the 79th. Ajoor, or Uncle Sam in this case, actually banned KDA first, and then I did my classic ban the third US and pick the 79th, so he doesn't have a good open ground counter to my division. And then he ended up picking the 39th instead as the sort of counter, I guess, to the 79th. And the reason that the 39th kind of can counter the 79th somewhat is because it has a better medium range engagement due to having more cost efficient tanks, even though technically the 79th also has cost efficient tanks, the same tanks basically, but also the 39th has BMP3s and BMP2s in abundance, so that is something they can also exploit. Both sides have plenty of SU-25s and stuff, so we'll be seeing lots of that action. But let's have a quick look at what's going down here. We've got Spetsnaz moving up early on to take a strong position. I've got the Razvedka there. MI8's going to be moving to the front early on as well, just to make sure no shenanigans are happening. A couple of Razvedka, one going to the mid, one going on the right-hand side here. And then I've also got a BMP2 with a Mostrelki on the right side with a T62, two BMP-1Ps with Mostrelki with Metis launchers, and then I've got Conkers for the mid, another Mostrelki Metis that's going to be coming up on the left-hand side here. I did bring up an SU-25, that's what you can hear out of the picture. Then we've got the Sapri, two Mostrelki Metis, and a T62 on the left-hand side. I also brought up an Osa early on, just in case he was going to be bringing in an SU-25 as well. But the plan with this SU-25 is to pretty much just see what I can see with the MI8 and strafe it as quickly as possible. I'm just getting myself a little bit of an advantage early on. I didn't bring any commands at the start this time. That's actually something that I would usually do in this sort of matchup, because it's generally quite a slow matchup, so bringing the commands early isn't punished as much. But in this case, yeah, I kind of opted to get myself a stronger position further forwards early on, and Uncle Sam also doing the same. He didn't bring any commands right from the beginning, so that's the position we are left in. MI8 currently just swinging around. I went quite far left here just in case there was any helicopters that were swinging around the outside of the map. Sapri now pushing forwards. I haven't really seen anything here, so just going to be going as deep as I can, get some ground into Echo early on, and that's going to allow me to pretty much get a very strong positional start. SU-25 actually coming in for the strafing run onto the MI8. My SU-25 is going to be coming in behind. I'm going to be looking to take down his recon aircraft. I do manage to take it out, his helicopter, but his SU-27 going to be coming in and taking out my SU-25. So I lose my SU-25 for killing what was pretty much an MI2, I think. And now his SU-25 has pretty much free reign on the left side, because I didn't bring in any AA, so I'm just going to try and stay in cover. So I kill the Razvedka as quickly as I can. And now I'm going to be running onto the map with a couple of Osas. Like, oh no, I need to get them on the map as soon as possible. In the meantime, I also decided to buy a BRDM and a Sapari Comlotti to capture Charlie. So a couple of CVs on the way. Meanwhile, Mostraki Mess is trying to take out the BMP3 here. Did manage to take out a Rosetka squad in the open, I think, on the left here. But yeah, Mostraki looking for the BMP3 kill. And I am going to be finding that, so that's good. Still maintaining my position here. So relatively happy with how this is going so far. But the Mostraki now making a push across, covered by the BMP3s from the tree line. Don't really have much to counter this at the moment, so going to be bringing in a couple of T-62s to help deal with the Mostraki. Su-25 coming in for the run onto the Rozvedka, but I'm already retreated them from that building as the infantry were heading towards me. Now the UAZ going to be trying to kill off the Igla for me. Didn't really manage to get any kills on target though, and the enemy unit there going to be taking me out. Su-25 coming in, taking out BMP and my Mostraki Metis. Osa not able to do the job. T-62 also going to taking a little bit of damage from that strafing run. He's really starting to get the better of me with this Su-25. So it's just as well that my double Osa here is on the way. But this T-62 being damaged is really not good for me. The Mi-8 can take that out because it is low on health. UAZ meanwhile trying to deal with the Rozvedka in the cover. Rozvedka squads are just like really pretty bad at engaging units at range. Another Su-25 on the way. You can smell his Su-25 advantage, so he's going to be opting to bring in another one. My Osas this time are in position and they're going to be looking to take that out. If I can shoot it down, very much worth it for me. And there it goes. Only got to land 3 with the Osas, and 3 we land. So that's going to stop his airplay for the time being. Mostraki, meanwhile, getting on top of my Rozvedka here. Not too good for me, but thankfully my BRDM is on the right side of the sector. And having captured this, I am at a +3. I also should have unloaded this already, but I didn't give it an unload at position order when I brought it in. So kind of not on a +5 when I should be, which is a little bit of a mistake on my part. He's now going to be counteracting the command in the center. And yeah, this BRDM was originally intentioned for Bravo, but then I bought another command and realized that I might as well just drive this up to this sector in order to contest it as quickly as possible so that I can maintain that +3. On the right hand side, didn't see anything here, so the T-62, the BMP2, Mostraki, currently having a free run around the right side of the map. My Sapari, BMP1, currently moving up the hill here away from the units that had pushed me out of this sector. And I was looking that maybe I could bring the BMP1 round and kill any armoured CV that might potentially be there. T-62 in the meantime going to be hit by the double Mostraki Metis. Mi-2 does spot my BMP2 here as it moves up on the right hand side. These units are obviously overextended, but my plan was to basically get into the backside of the sector as quickly as possible and maybe even harass Delta. But the Su-25 is going to come in there with the rockets, take out the BMP2, and the Mi-2 did see the T-62, so he's going to be hunting that down as well. I was hoping that I could maybe keep it in deep cover though, so that he can't find it. BMP2 coming in with some Mostraki BMP so that I can push his units out of these buildings. I don't want him in these compounds because it makes it very difficult for me. Mi-2 now moving up though, does spot the T-62, and T-62 not much of a chance here, does get routed. And he's going to be pulling off as he's likely out of ammo. So we're kind of into that classic death row stalemate now, where both sides have their back caps captured, and then you have the contested center sector. Now he is responding to my infantry here. My Mostraki are going to get hit quite heavily by a lot of infantry here that he's been forced to unload. Su-22 did come in and bomb one of my Mostraki Metis, and it kind of reveals that I don't really have much AA on this right hand side. So going to be bringing up another OSA, making sure that I can shut down any of the aircraft that he uses, and I'm making a solid push back into the center sector here. Got to deal with these Motorstrauki as quickly as possible. So T-62, BMP-2, Motorstrauki revealing the position for me. Make short work of them. Now on the left side, you might have noticed, brought in a Sapari Komnoti with a Sapari RPO. Since my Spetsnaz are quite far up, I was looking at basically setting up a big push here that I could then move into this sector and contest while I'm attacking in order to continue to gain an advantage on this map. Because that is, other than just sweeping the mid completely and taking out the enemy's command, it's generally quite difficult to get extra points away from your enemy after the beginning of the game. That's why unloading the Sapari Komnoti was super important, like getting that unloaded early on. I was really unlucky there to not kill the Su-22. It does have a bit of ECM, but I've got 3 OSAs here now. I am making sure to move them every time that they fire, so that if he brings in enemy artillery to try and take them out, he's not going to be able to. So that was super important. Meanwhile over here, BMP-1 is trying to sneak around, but the Mi-2 is going to spot that. Now the Su-25 coming in to kill the Razvedka. I was surprised he could see that if my Razvedka couldn't see his unit, but just how it is, I suppose, and the Su-25 for now. Going to be able to get away with that. BMP-2 up against the BMP-1. Is HGM not able to kill my BMP-2, but my Conker's able to one-shot him, so managed to take that engagement. And now the BMP-2 with the T-62 able to hit the Sapari out in the open. So just little trades here and there that are important throughout the length of the game. If I can continue to build up a big advantage in these sort of smaller engagements, then in the long run it's going to really, really help me out. BMP-2 gets a little bit of ahead of the infantry on the left side, does get taken out by an enemy launcher. So the Motorstrauki Sapari RPO going to be moving forwards to take on that enemy infantry. I've also got a couple of T-62s hanging about. I'm going to be sending one to the mid, one to the left. Both is still sitting in position here. BMP-3 going to be taking the shots from the first of my artillery. So I have brought in a couple of Akatsayas, and these are going to be trying to help break the stalemate in the center of the map. Motorstrauki trying to get away from the Su-22. Now the Su-22 does come across here, actually manages to shoot down my helicopter here as well. And the Su-27 managing to get away from so many missiles as well. Really not having luck against these aircrafts, using up so much ammo. And then being forced to bring in these extra Euros to keep them topped off, which is points that I would otherwise prefer to spend on ground forces. Now Sapari RPO with the Motorstrauki helping me win the engagement against the enemy Motorstrauki. That's going to allow me to move my Sapari leader forwards. I'm looking to take out the AT infantry here. Su-22 though coming in again for another bombing strike, just keeping me slowed down. Really, really hoping to take that out. Do manage to get it, thankfully. That's what should happen. Although technically that's a little bit lucky, because these with the ECM have less than 50% chance to hit. So hitting like 3 or 2 out of 4 is actually lucky for me. So yeah, anyway, BTR-60 going to be pushing hard onto the enemy infantry here. BMP-1 is going to get spotted by the Mi-2 in the meantime. Just trying to continue making these cheeky plays. Yeah, so this is the reason that I was pushing up the BTR-60 to engage the Sapari RPO, because they can't fight back. But the OP infantry there going to be able to take me out. OP not standing for overpowered in this case. Now this Mi-8 causing me problems, going to be taking out the Sapari RPO. And this was like a very finicky game. It was like every little move mattered, because it's all about value in an engagement like this, because we're pretty much like even in the sort of closer range engagements in particular. And if I let him get like a couple kills here and there, like particularly onto like that Saperi Apio before it kills any of his infantry, then, you know, it puts me in a really bad spot. Like his MI8 here really causing me issues. I'm trying to get my Osa into line of sight so I can shoot that down, which can take it out in 2 missiles, but getting it on target is really, really hard. Now BTR-60 here, also going to be finding my Sapori. Sapori can't engage the BTR-60 unless I were to like fire position the satchel, but it would probably take too long and the Sapori would die in the meantime. Yeah, it's kind of risky. I don't want to put the Osas in this position, honestly, because I don't really know what's around. Like, I know there's a BMP here as well that could easily kill the Osa, so gotta be super careful. But with the Su-25 hanging about, the Mi-8 in the sky, like, I really have no choice but to move the Osas further up. And I'm going to be bringing up a third Osa just to make sure that if one of these two die, I have the extra there. Now, the BMP-1 has made it round into the back of this sector, but it is going to run out of fuel just before it moves forwards. But I'm not going to be able to find the enemy command just yet. I am going to be destroying that building, taking out any infantry that are in it. Su-25 in the meantime, going to be finishing off the BMP-1 as the Mi-2 does spot it. So Saperi RPO now moving up with the T-62 backing them up. BMP-2 has arrived, moving forwards the supply now as well, so they can get the Spetsnaz back online. Spetsnaz are going to briefly spot the Mi-8. A new Saperi RPO coming in. This was kind of my bad. Like, I shouldn't have really been having it go that far up, because it does allow the Mi-8 to get on target, but I get away with it this time around. T-62 is able to take out the Mostralki, although it did take a RPG to the front armor, so that's not good. Another Su-22 looking for a bombing strike now on the left side. Saperi RPO going for the Saperi engagement. That Su-22 not able to bomb because of the smoke, I think, unless he cancelled the order or changed the order at the last minute. Maybe that's why. I managed to take that out, so that's really good. Now the Osa looking for a shot onto the Su-25, hoping to hit that. Not just try and shoot it down, but if I damage it, it means you can't use it for a little while longer. It does take longer to repair and rearm at base if it is damaged. So continuing to bring in the artillery. Monostraki Metis looking for the kill onto the BMP-3 in the meantime as well. There's my Spetsnaz Kabu coming over to the left to try and just see what they can see. This Monostraki really let me down though. Do take out the BTR-60. Razvedka, Monostraki pushing forwards, double Saperi RPO behind, T-62's getting fixed up. Brought in my own MA MT as well. That BMP-3 just wouldn't die. Now the Osa, I force it out in the open to try and take out the Mi-8, and I do manage to do so, so that's good. And my artillery is hitting nicely. I've now got 4 of the Akatsaya. I actually accidentally hit my own troops there though, so that's why he's continuing to advance. Like, you can see that these shots were here, but basically they dropped short, and it ended up damaging my own units more than his. So, a little bit too close for comfort, and it's going to cost me that engagement. Marazudka not going to be able to hold up against his Saperi RPO and the Saperi. The Mostralki and Saperi of my own are trying to fall back. My Mi-8 is getting in position to try and help out with some rockets. But I'm going to be finding Marazudka on that side. Do manage to kill them off at least. But yeah, I'm trying to move up forwards the Saperi RPO here to help hold off these troops. But because of the flames coming in from his Saperi RPO, my Saperi aren't as effective in that position. And the Spetsnaz able to kill the BTR-60 at least. And they'll be able to get some decent DPS down onto those troops. T-62 also managing to get its machine gun on target briefly. But yeah, just constantly arting this side. Now in hindsight, thinking about it, what I should have done is created like a line with the Akatsayas rather than like doing like a square. I think it probably would have been more effective. I'm making sure to cancel some of these commands because I don't want to hit my own infantry again. I've got supply coming in to get these Zakatsayas back online. I've also got this one. It's going to allow my Mi-8 to land. It did get hit by an enemy Igla, so I was forced to take it out of the position that I had here. Meanwhile, these two Sapali coming back over, so I'd kind of forgotten about them on the left side there, so I'm going to be moving them back and get them into the infantry blob so that we can push back forwards. I haven't really seen like much artillery out of him. He's now bringing that in. But yeah, that's going to be hitting quite nicely. As soon as his fires, I'm going to be trying to counter battery, as you can see. I want to try and keep him on his toes. I'm also, since I can't see anything on this left side, I'm going to be trying to harass his command, which is probably in these buildings somewhere, since my BMP didn't spot any vehicles in the corner. So I have also now brought up a couple of T-80Bs. T-80Bs are going to be very, very good for taking out the T-62s. Oster, in the meantime, going to be finding this Mi-8. And I do manage to take that out. Unfortunately, my infantry here are going to be forced back because he has also reinforced this left side. And I'm going to be creating another one of those squares just to pretty much make a dead zone. He's now got his own AA in position though, and goodbye to my Mi-8. He's going to also be arting me on the right side. I'm going to be just consolidating my position here. Like, I'm pretty happy with my position at the moment. I've got the point lead with 20 minutes left on the clock. So I've got to basically just hold if I can, if I can't make any ground. I've still got the plan of like pushing up here. You can see I've got the Sapari Komroti just chilling, providing me with extra veterancy, but also, you know, ready to countercap this sector. The main thing is though, as soon as he sees me countercap this, he's going to go ham. He's going to bring in like the artillery here, he's going to try and bomb it, he's going to try and do all sorts just to make sure that I'm not contesting that anymore. You can see he is starting to build up a little bit of an air force here. He's got the SU-27 hanging around, he's got a couple of SU-25s, he's got the Mi-8, really starting to build up for a push. So I'm just trying to continue to get the artillery on target. You see I'm queuing orders even just to make sure that I get as much value out of this artillery throughout the game. His Motorozvedka are spotting my Spetsnaz just as I'm spotting him. So he is going to be trying to hit those, and that's why he's RTing mine like I was going to try and RT his. I was hoping that my artillery here was ready to kind of like soften up his forces, but it didn't really do anything. Like, I must have missed a lot of the shots. So the Sapali RPO going to get taken out for free, which is really bad. T-80 is trying to push up, and you can see there's still a bunch of units at the back hovering about, waiting to pounce. I'm getting pretty light on infantry here now. Monostroki Metis should have been unloaded, really. T-80 able to take out the BMP at least. Spetsnaz able to take out his tank. Almost getting the better of the Sapali there. Managed to kill one of them. T-80B I get the first shot onto, which was really good. Managed to get the second shot as well, so that's really nice. This one's getting stunned by the rockets of the Mi-8 though. And we've also got shots coming in from the enemy APC. T-62 is going to kill my BMP-2 quickly. I'm hoping that my T-62 can take out his T-62. I'm going to be moving forwards to Sapali first so they can spot it, and then the T-62 can go for that engagement instead. Going to be finding the T-62 on the left, looking to take that out. And just shoot down his Mi-8 with the OSA. Take out the T-62 on the left. So far, so good. Although these SU-25s are really kind of stopping me from over-investing or like, you know, getting over-aggressive on this left side. So another T-62, going to be hitting that with the Monostrelki. T-62 finishes it off. Now we got the BMPs, Sapali up against my units, but the SU-24 coming in with the cluster. Now the Su-25 coming in as well. Managed to shoot down both of them. Cluster takes out the T-62 though. Su-25 takes out one of those. I've got two MiG-23 MLDs coming in, committing deep for the Su-25s. Managed to take out one. Looking for the next one. But that is 3 aircraft down. My Spetsnaz have managed to make a little bit of ground in the center. Su-27 coming in, looking to shoot down my MiGs. And he does manage to get both. That's unfortunate. I didn't have time to get them out of there. So I killed like his ground attack planes and traded them for my air-to-air planes, which isn't really a bad thing. I wasn't too unhappy with how that went. You know, it could have been a lot worse. The Su-25s could have dodged a lot of missiles and got out alive. That would have been the worst case scenario. In this case, not too bad. Now I'm going to be continuing to push forwards. I've got a T-80U that's going to be covering the open ground. I've got the T-80Bs that will be going aggressive. Unfortunately, my Spetsnaz died trying to push across here. But I've got the artillery now coming in to clean up any infantry that might have been left in that position. My T-80 trying to kill the T-62M, but actually ends up getting killed off itself. Now the BMP 1P getting blown up by the T-62M. Nice kill by the T-80U though. And the reflex getting that one shot there with the Sata GM. Very, very nice. Thanks to the crit. Spetsnaz again fixed up by the supply. Motostrauki fixed up. Still moving forwards with the Sapari Komroti slowly. New Mi-8 has been brought in. Another OSA arriving on the field. 2 T-80UDs now rolling up. And my plan was to not only try and contest this now, but with my Spetsnaz and other units making it across the open before the Su-25s came in, it made me, or sort of, yeah, made me think that there wasn't much here. So, kind of thinking that might be able to do a little bit of a strategy where I just push across the open with my overwhelming armor force. And now a lot of the Su-25s and stuff are dead. That's a lot more viable for me to do. We're going to be focusing on pushing up on the left side. The T-80B is going to be moving up to engage the Sapari RPO and the Sapari. Just realized I probably shouldn't be letting them get away. Like, in theory, he could just be running back so that his Motostrauki or whatever he has here can move forwards and engage the T-80B, but I decided to just commit to this because if I can take out his infantry, then it allows my Sapari Komroti to get in the sector here and contest, which is going to give me the +2 for the first time in a long while. And there's 14 minutes left on the clock. Now, he does have a couple more infantry here, a couple more Sapari RPO. Unfortunately, they're going to catch out my Sapari Komroti, and they've pinned it down. My Motostrauki going to move up and try and engage the Sapari RPO. He actually ends up falling back, and he's going to be bringing up his T-80BV, and that's going to be getting the better of my T-80B. And yeah, Sapari needs to do a runner. Artillery though, wabam, straight on target with the first shot. Not ideal. So now I'm in a really bad spot because I pushed forwards with my infantry, with my tank, and I lost it. And I lost my leader, and now he's going to be obviously counter pushing. I really didn't expect the extra Sapari RPO there. Otherwise, my leader probably would have been okay, and I would have been in a much better position there because the Motostrauki would have been able to face off against the T-80 with their RPG. Anyway, a couple of BMPs coming in. I've got some more units coming up on the left side, a couple of my Sapari RPO, and BMP2 with Motostrauki. Spetsnaz doing a runner. OSA's falling back. As things are looking pretty bleak on the left side temporarily. My Mi-8, I was really hoping could get like line of sight here onto these infantry, but wasn't quite able to. Gonna be just continuing with the RT on this side. His RT is coming in actually onto my T-80U. It actually accidentally hits my Motostrauki, I think. He's got another Mi-8 on this side. I've shot down like 3 MI8s here now, I think. And he still always had one more. And there's 2 of them. I'm pretty sure I'd already killed one MI8 with the rocket ones. But yeah, I'm going to be pinning down his T-80BV anyway. My Sapelli Upio bump into another of his T-80BVs in the trees here, so they're going to get beaten pretty convincingly. My Motostrucky Metis missing the shot here. Actually, they might have hit that shot, but they got pinned. And yeah, the whole thing kind of falling apart a little bit. Going to be forced on the defensive as a pullback. This BRDM currently just brought in to assist with leadership, but also to be the next command that goes for the cap. Osa here going to be hit by the artillery, and my BMP 1P failed to kill the enemy BMP there, which was unfortunate. Su-25 coming in, really hoping to shoot that down, and managed to do so. So Spetsnaz, Motostrauki trying to hold the line there for me. BMP2 and T-80U holding. T-80U here going to be shifting across to try and get line of sight into some of these trees. Osa's still falling back, although I did lose one of the Osas on the left side. And of course I've now lost that Osa as well. It kind of got to the point where I had so many Osas that I found it difficult to keep microing them, because obviously he's targeting them quite heavily with his artillery. T-80U trying to take out the Motostrauki there. MI8 finding line of sight onto my infantry again. This was really frustrating. Like, Uncle Sam's positioning of the MI8s here, just for some reason, was like really difficult for me to deal with. I could just never get line of sight with any of my Osas. It was just very frustrating. Su-24 coming in with the cluster isn't going to kill the T-80. The T-80 is quite heavily armored. I'm able to get it far enough to one side that it doesn't die. That was good, but I'm still going to have to get it fixed up. There's currently 10 minutes left on the clock, and yeah, it's been a tough game so far. Really close, and it is just coming down to value of units. My T-80 here, going to be trying to help cover this road. Motostrauki covering the left side. I've got a Strela coming in to help deal with the MI8, but the Sapelli Upio are going to be able to deal with the Motostrauki, and it just felt like sometimes on this left side that I was always countered by the right unit. Now, I was doing that to him initially, but I think what ended up happening was I basically just ran out of steam and then always had the wrong unit at the wrong time. Motostrauki did manage to get an RPG on target there, but you can see my T-80D UD is down to 1 health because I traded shots with the T-80BV and lost out because he had 2 tanks and I only had 1. Now I lost line of sight onto the T-80U because, or the BV, sorry, because my Motostrauki died. So my T-80UD loses line of sight, has to re-aim towards the infantry, and you can just see how that went. It just went terribly. I've now purchased a couple of Su-25s. I'm looking to just block off this attack completely by killing off both of the T-80 BVs. His Su-25's coming along. It's going to get shot down. Cluster bombs away. He does manage to capture one of my supply vehicles, which was a bit frustrating. I'm going to be committing the Su-25 to finally kill the Mi-8. Probably could have tried to kill the Mi-2 there as well. But yeah, all my units on this left side just falling back. I've lost pretty much everything here. Devastating push against me from Uncle Sam. And this has pretty much come down to, on this left side, him getting more value than me over time. That's pretty much it. Especially now losing the T-80UD there. Losing the 2 T-80Bs early on without killing any of the T-80BVs that he had. You know, that really adds up. The other thing that was really annoying with this Akatsuya, you might have been seeing this throughout the game, but it was really not behaving. So it ran out of ammo, and I kept giving, like I had the group order with giving them fire position orders, but because it didn't have any ammo, it kept trying to drive forwards and use its main gun. So I'm trying to get it back to reload, but every time I select the group and give them a new order, it's driving back forwards, and it was really, really frustrating. Now, eventually, I do correct this by just making a new group for the 3 Ekadzayas that have supply. But yeah, this 4th Ekadzaya was just wanting to suicide the whole game. Because when it ran out of ammo, it just, yeah, wanted to drive forwards. New T80 on the way. BTR 60s on the way with the Sapari RPO. And yeah, I've now just got to stop him from doing what I was trying to do to him. So get a command into the corner of the sector, and since he's the one behind, he's going to be much more desperate to do it than I am. Now his artillery is going to come in, it's going to hit my T80 really nicely here. Chip that down. It's going to make it difficult because his T80BVs, or T80B in this case, is going to be able to get a shot on target. I'm going to have to smoke. He smokes as well. I did give him the supply on this side, so he is going to be able to fix up. I've just got to get these Sapari into position as quickly as possible to stop these infantry squads. Now that Motostrelki moving forwards is really bad news for me. The T80 is in a really bad position, and the Motostrelki can get an RPG on target. So I'm trying to reverse it. Rozvedka, BMP in the meantime. Trying to get an HGM on target. Lucky they didn't. Sapari RPOs now taking position in the corner of these compounds. This one looking to take out the Motostrelki. His artillery is trying to kill potentially my leader here. And there's the Sapari Komoti. Looking for the strafing run onto that. Unfortunately, not going to be able to finish that off in the SU-25. That's going to get taken out. SU-27 coming in there. Another cluster bomber coming in. And the reason I brought in the cluster SU-25 was because I was kind of convinced that I'd killed the enemy command. And then he'd replaced it with like he basically had 2 commands, which would have been like the smart thing for him, but it just turns out that I completely whiffed on attacking the leader at all, so that's how it ended up. Anyway, I did shoot down his SU-27 there, I think. A 3rd SU-25 coming in. This one really didn't do too much. I also lose my tank here to his T-80Bs. So things not looking good. The ATB goes down, artillery is coming in to try and do damage to his command, and you can see it sat there. I'm just on the side of desperate now. Thankfully, my Ekadzaya finally gonna hit the mark. And the SU-25s have pretty much free reign on this left side for the time being, due to his lack of AA. And that Strela, you're probably wondering why it didn't fire. It was probably just out of ammo. So the SU-25 is just strafing away. There is the units back here firing at me, but these SU-25s are really not taking much damage from that. I was hoping to continue to strafe. Didn't give them fire position orders. Sapari RPO moving across, just trying to hold. This is like such a close game at this point. And the rules for the tournament, if you guys aren't aware, is there are no draws, because it's a best of 5. So if I have one more point than he does, I win, basically. So it's super important that I do maintain that. And the SU-25 there does manage to take out the Mi-8, which is really good. But this one's actually out of Gatling ammo. It's actually out of ammo completely. Didn't really notice at the time. And this SU-25 trying to take out the Mi-2 there. So maximum value out of these SU-25s. If you can get an engagement where you have like used up all the ammo, it's super good. So yeah, that SU-25 out now, this SU-25 out now, and they really saved my bacon on that left hand side. Mi-24Vs now going to be moving into position in the center as Uncle Sam's making pretty much an all-out push here. Like with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock, he's really got to try and find my command in the center or get another command in on the left-hand side. My T-80BV is currently engaging his T-80B, and he manages to smoke that off. My Mi-24's going to be able to clean up that magistral key, and the BMP-2 able to take out the Sapari here. And the Eaglet, that's got to go. If I can get rid of it and I don't lose the Mi-24Vs, then I'm all good. The Strela 10M coming up is going to force my Mi-24Vs back. I just take out T-80B on the left side, but my T-80BV here is on 1 health. And he's got T-80B in the cover here. So, yeah, going to be losing that. His Sapari Comlotti does unload early. Going to be trying to get that into the sector. This has actually turned out to be a pretty big mistake. Now, the other thing that I was trying to do here, these Mi-24Vs, for some reason, were just not cooperating. I was trying to get the rockets on target of this Strela 10M. This one just didn't want to fire. I think it's because it was trying to target the enemy infantry at the same time. I shoot down the Mi-8. Just moving deep to kill the Strela 10M. Artillery is going to preemptively aim with Sapari Comlotti. My Sapari Comlotti under threat because his infantry has managed to run across due to my units dying. This T-80UD is down to like 4 health, so very difficult for it to help out. He manages to get his command in here. 30 seconds left on the clock. If he hadn't have unloaded it and he already had it in the sector, like, you know, 30 seconds earlier, he would have been ticking. Now, I'm not sure if it would have been enough, but it would have been close. T-80B, I managed to take it out. The Sapari RPO and Magistroke coming in on me here. My Mi-24V, you can see that it did spot the BTR-60, but because it only has the Yak-V, this can't attack vehicles, like armored vehicles. So instead, I go over to the left side and I try and kill his Sapari Comlotti here so that I can cancel the +2 that he had. But thankfully, I am saved by the bell. And there you go, 40-minute game for game 2 of this best of 5. And I managed to take a second victory. Now, this was a very stressful match to play, but you can see in the end the value in my favor. 8,475 kills to 7,055 losses. The reason my losses are higher than his kills is because the Akatsai has got some friendly fire in there. But yeah, oh, what a game. This was exhausting to play. But I was really happy that I took the second game. Like at the time, we weren't entirely sure if I had actually won based on the rules of the tournament, but yeah, it turned out I had. So I was actually really happy moving into game 3, but this game made me very scared of the 39th into the 79th in this matchup, because I realized that his division generally can get a lot of value. Now, my T-80U here, for example, getting 2 T-62s, T-80B, like that's doing what it should do. My T-80UDs did absolutely nothing in this game, and that was really bad. And the Su-25s, they came up clutch late game, and leaving them till the late game actually was kind of a smart choice, because at that point, there isn't as much left on the map. Like, there's not as much options for him. And when it comes to like AA and stuff, if I've already taken out some, or if he was like kind of crutching on his Su-25s or Su-27s, sorry. Yeah, the Su-27s, taking those out, super important, especially for when I was like just flying around freely. Check out this OSA, getting 2 Su-22 M4 kills and an Su-24 M kill with the Su-27 kill. Like, that's a lot of value out of that OSA. Yeah, OSAs are great. I love OSAs. And I'm surprised that often other people don't use them as much. Anyway, his Su-25 play early on really sort of shut down any value that I'd taken at that point. This conquer has also caused me a little bit of issues. I probably could have brought in an artillery early to take that out. His T62Ms were a little bit annoying, but I think we were trading with them okay. It was more when he brought in the BVs that they outclassed my T80B, and he had 2 of them when I only had 1 left. So he was just like double teaming all my tanks, and that was really bad for me. I think in the end, you know, he could have won if he'd unloaded his command earlier. Or not, sorry, if he hadn't unloaded it earlier. If he'd managed to like use the BTR to drive it into the sector and unload it, then he probably would have had enough time to take this game. But at the same time, like if I'd unloaded my command, the Sapericom Lotti, in the back sector earlier, then I would have been nearer 300, 400 points in that game at that point. So, you know, there's give and take in this, and I think in the end, you know, I traded better and I got the win. So, yeah, that's basically how this game went. It was a marathon, not a sprint, and it was an exhausting game. So I'm at 2-0 in this best of 5. Still haven't dropped a game in the WARNO League, but I came very, very close. So yeah, certainly making me a bit more nervous now, Ajoor. That's for sure. Right, that's it for now. Hopefully you guys join me in game 3. Be coming onto the channel soon. I will see you then. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.